So last time we talked, Autumn Volkov, the heir of my legacy challenge, went out to dinner to celebrate her pharmacist Mason Meshram's birthday with her twin brother Ezra Volkov and her old friend Tate Harris, while her brother, Edward Volkov, went to the doctor. Today, Autumn was going to finally introduce her girlfriend, Addison Chopra, to Alexis and Kristopher. She had told them about her briefly after they'd kissed for the first time. She was nervous, but excited, and had missed Addison so much. OMG Bob Pancakes, please never make another joke ever again. Edward got back from the doctor, diagnosed with a sprained ankle. Don't make me ever have to spend money on you ever again. Unless it's for plastic surgery. Alexis and Kristopher came downstairs to greet Addison. She had a big smile across her face as she bonded with her girlfriend's parents for the very first time. Her and Chris got along especially well. Autumn told them the whole story of how they met. Of course, not mentioning the party she had secretly thrown, but basically everything else. They were so happy for them. Afterwards, the two snuck off for a moment alone. On the same day, you're meeting her parents, really. Ezra finished up what was left of his college presentation. While Edward greeted Addison, she was surprised at how warm and welcoming the Volkovs were to her, though she was happy to see her girlfriend again. Autumn's dependency on medications had grown immensely, and part of her was hoping Addison would leave so she could get her fix. Edward, how are you so damn hideous and get so many girls? Must be that personality, because ain't no way they find your glitched ass attractive. Finally, Addison was leaving, so she kissed her goodbye and ran to her room. She was dying for that fix, and she felt instantly better afterwards. Meanwhile, Ezra was going to see some family. He was heading over to the Oklo residence to catch up with Rory and Sawyer. He hadn't seen either of them since Jacob's funeral. Unfortunately for Ezra, Rory wasn't home, but their daughter Sawyer was. Ezra hadn't seen his niece since she was a child, and honestly didn't know her all that well. He was hoping to change that. He was sure she didn't remember him, so he reintroduced himself, and they had a very friendly conversation. Ezra didn't know if Sawyer knew that he was her uncle, and he didn't know exactly if he wanted to bring it up. Surely, Sawyer would have questions, and Ezra didn't know how Rory would feel opening Pandora's box, so he just explained that him and Rory were old friends instead. Ezra didn't want it like this. He wanted his family to come together, especially after Jacob's passing. He wanted family reunions and holidays and vacations. It's what Jacob would have wanted too. And so, when Rory finally got back home, Ezra explained this to them. Of course, he didn't mention Chris, but brought up the topic of Autumn knowing. They had spoken about this when Ezra was a teen, just a day or two after he'd aged up, and was hoping Rory would be open to the idea now like she was then, and she was. She would love to get to know Autumn on a deeper level. Their kidnapping had certainly gave them a different perspective on life, so it was settled. Autumn would find out about Rory soon. All Ezra had to do now was figure out when would be a good time.